Menzgold branch, while Justice here is with us at the Jodo branch. Then, of course, we have our own boss here. I'm sure a lot of you know him already. His name is Mr. I know I should have put a Mr. before Nana because Nana itself is royal enough, but for the purposes of this ceremony, I'll still add Mr. Nana Yao Ofe. In-house at Menzgold, he's our father. But even a father has an even bigger father. And this afternoon, we're later to have in our Mr. Butcher, Lawyer Fred, as we all like to call him. But I call him Ofa, and he calls me Mofa here. Ladies and gentlemen, let us start the ceremony by hearing first from my big boss himself, Nana Ofe. A big hand for him.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We would want to welcome you to this press briefing. Before I start, I would want to give a special recognition to the board chair of Menzgold Ghana Company Limited, Lawyer Fred Frimpomo, management members of Menzgold staff, invited journalists, and ladies and gentlemen. Menzgold Ghana Limited has filed suit this afternoon against the Bank of Ghana and the Securities and Exchange Commission. We have been constrained to do so because we have been left with no other choice. Under the circumstances, we have filed suit to seek a healthy determination of our rights to enable us make progress. In the interim period, we are very much alive to the needs of our customers. It is, however, important to note that the recent circumstances has dislodged the shape and the projections of our business. To that end, we have set out a payment schedule starting tomorrow to be circulated to all our customers. Customers are encouraged to only visit their branches on the date for their collections, as the schedule will strictly be adhered to avoid overcrowding at the branches. It is pertinent to note, however, that the period starting Wednesday, 12 September 2018 to date, while the gold vote market has remained forcefully shut by the Securities and Exchange Commission, regrettably shall not attract any form of returns whatsoever, as the business of the gold trade has been and still is dormant. Finally, the date of the shutdown of the gold trade, the firm cannot process any kind of termination on the gold vote until a healthy restoration is determined by the courts. It is important to note that but for these unwarranted obstructions, Menzgold has had 100% unblemished record with regards to payment of extra values to traders. In our 5 years of operations, there isn't any single case on record suggesting default payment as a variable matter of fact. We wish to state these statements or make this pronouncement as against the ongoing little dispute, I may call it, or misunderstanding, which we believe that in order to seek justice, we have confronted or we have sent our plea to the courts of competent jurisdiction. And we believe that at the end of the day, we believe strongly that Ghana shall prosper. Long live Menzgold, long live Ghana as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In order not to take too much of our time, we would allow 5 questions, and then we would bring this ceremony to a close, this press briefing to a close. So 5 questions allowed, please. First of all, I believe what Mr. Ofe read went down quite clearly, and we will circulate, copies of it for each and every member of the press and journalists that are in this auditorium. So we'll take a question from you.
Thank you. My name is Timothy. My name is Timothy from the Daily Graphic. You just made mention that you are coming up with the payment schedule for the customer. I want to find out if you can walk us through this payment schedule so that we understand it.
Right. The payment schedule that is going to be circulated to the customers would be based on date of maturity. If you understand the nature of the gold vault trading business, it is basically on maturity dates. And when you interact with customers, they'll tell you mine matured on this date, on that date, on that date. So it's going to be based on dates. So for instance, if yours matured, say, on the 1st of August, you come on a particular day. So maybe from 1st to 5th, they have a particular day on which they would come. And that, when I say on which they would go, it means they go to their various branches. Then if yours matured on the 2nd, you have a particular day on which you'd attend. And this begins from tomorrow. So customers are encouraged to just stay calm and wait till they get their messages. It would be via SMS, and they would get it. And when they get it, they will know when to go. It begins tomorrow, it runs all the way through next week until everybody is sorted. Any other place? And those that don't even get the messages can also visit their branches for clarity, because the details will be posted at all the branches, so that when you get to the branch, you will see the details that will spell out when you are to go for your extra value. 4. Yes?
My name is Lawrence, Secretary from CTFM.
Right.
I need a little clarification. Earlier statements from Menzgold indicated that because of the directive given by the SEC, Menzgold is unable to continue with its business. With this lawsuit, does it mean that it clears the way for you? One. And then secondly, if you could brief us on during the engagement, what really happened, because we are hearing different issues in the media. If you could help us.
The engagement, of course, is between two companies, and we've already maintained that Menzgold is not in the habit of disseminating stuff that is happening between the state institution and the organization to the public. If for whatever reason that state institution would want to disseminate it, well, we hold no quarrels, but we are not in the position of disseminating that kind of information. And then you did ask, the first question was about the pressure on the business, or the lull or the slow nature of the business triggered by the shutdown instruct from the Securities and Exchange Commission. If you heard Mr. Offer very explicitly, he did make it clear that from a certain period, there would not be payments, because during that period, there was no trade. Anything prior to that period meant that trading had gone on already before that shutdown. So anything before that period would definitely be catered for. Anything before that period is safe, it is not affected in any way. And that is why he did mention from a specific date being the 12th of September. If you would recall, I think the letter from the SEC came in around the 7th of September or so. So anything from 12th of September till where we are now, there is really no trade going on. So payments cannot be made. I trust you'd agree that makes perfect sense. Yes, please.
Eben Adekunbati from TV3. Should customers come in to demand principal alongside whatever has matured? Is the company ready to do that for them?
Again, it goes back to everything that matured before the shutdown period. Anything before the shutdown period, the firm is catering for, starting tomorrow. And I'm sure Mr. Offer might want to throw a bit more light on that. Once it is before that shutdown period, it falls in line and it can be addressed. But anything from the shutdown would have to be re-looked at, and that's that will be disseminated to customers. So yes, all extra values, as we sit here right now, extra value there's matured, that would come via SMS and they can pick that up. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Yabimeni from PCFL.
Yes, sir.
Menzgold has been in operation from the statement he read, or from what you said, has been in operation for the past 5 years. What kind of relationship exists between Menzgold, BOJ, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the regulatory bodies that are supposed to oversee your operations? And if I may ask, how come there's now a deadlock?
Well, let me first remark that all matters pertaining to the operations of Menzgold are sub judice. When matters are before the courts, you are all aware of the fact that you cannot comment on the substance of the matter. So, regrettably, we cannot do that. We cannot comment on the substance of the matter. But as far as our interactions with those bodies that you said, see, there's one area that we find very difficult to apprehend. In the sense that we say we should respect the institutions of state, right? The institutions of state. Yes, so all those matters are now pending before you. Matters as to the legality of our operations or otherwise, they are all before you. And all those stakeholders, talking about Mineral Commission, Bank of Ghana, and SEC, they have all submitted to the jurisdiction of YOCO. So we find it rather strange that one of the bodies should go out of his own way and say we are calm down. We find it very difficult to appreciate it. But that's a topic for another day. So, well, as far as our operations are concerned, they will say, oh, you are operating legally, and we say we are not operating legally. So it's all the more reason why I keep on emphasizing the point that these matters are before YOCO. And YOCO, they are investigating. So left to us, we want to be where we find ourselves now. Go for it. Because at the end of the day, the customers who are suffering. It's the economy which is being hurt. And we keep on emphasizing that our customers, they stray from A to Z. A to Z. So, yeah, it's really, they are being harmed. That's what we can say for now. There are no things we cannot comment about. That's where we are now.
I think we'll take 2 more questions and then we'll bring the event to a close. Yes.
Very well, George. I am Pius from Class FM. I wouldn't want to be a pessimist, but should in case the declaration you make that you seek in the court to make doesn't go in your favor, what becomes of this road? Thank you.
It is a little premature to go into that aspect. However, what you need to understand is that Menzgold is an organization that deals in many other products. The Gold Vote product we've consistently maintained is just one of the several products that the company has under its jurisdiction. And during this shutdown, you would realize that, as contrary to popular opinion or contrary to what some people thought, business has still been going on as usual. If you know any Menzgold staff, you would know that they've been going to work. They are not on holiday, because the Gold Vote product is just one aspect of its business. So what becomes of Menzgold? Business will continue. Last question. It would be nice if we hear from someone who hasn't asked a question today. If someone who hasn't, because that would be there's somebody at the back.
Okay.
There's somebody at the back.
In fact, the question my brother here asked, I think hasn't been addressed as to whether the customers can come in for the capital.
Oh, I believe I did.
The principal rather.
I believe I did.
And to quickly add to that one, the extra value you are paying, have you quantified it? How much is involved in it?
We'll take the last question. Then the question has been answered.
Let me ask. He said you have all manner of customers. How many do you have? Do you know the number?
I think it would be unfair at this point to.
I'm not asking you to mention any name.
No. This is not names.
We are aware of all manner of people, including all manner of people. But I'm asking, obviously, as an institution dealing with customers and all those things. For instance, if you go to a particular bank, they can tell you that our customers are maybe 100,000, 200,000.
There are a lot of customers, but I don't think there's a need to disclose the number of customers at this point. And you don't lose anything by getting that information.
I want to know, because I want to know.
I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say thank you very much. Of course, our board chair and director here will be around to answer and
And so we entreat them to remain positive and alive because Menzgold is here to prosper. Thank you.
Shall we please be